G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're going to take a deep dive into the world of Pokemon to shine a spotlight on a little bird Pokemon that I believe deserves more attention. Natu. Natu, the tiny bird Pokemon, has always flown under the radar. Despite its unique design and intriguing lore, the Pokemon Company has consistently undervalued it. Let's break down why Natu deserves better. First off, let's talk about Natu's base stat total. With a base stat total of just 320, Natu struggles to compete with many other Pokemon, especially in the early to mid game stages. Its stats are slightly higher than that of first stage starter Pokemon, but its level up learn set doesn't do it any favors. Natu lacks the powerful moves that would make it a real contender in battle. For example, here is Natu's level up moveset. The only flying type move is Peck, and by level 30, the only damaging psychic type move is Future Sight, which makes sense with Xatu's lore, but why not give it Confusion somewhere in the early to late teens and Psybeam by mid 20s? Natu's evolution into Xatu happens at level 25, which can be frustrating for trainers who want to use it effectively earlier on. Moreover, Natu doesn't have access to the powerful TM moves until after you've beaten the Pokemon League, making it even harder to utilize its potential during the main storyline. And here's the real kicker. If you wanted to delay Natu's evolution and hold out for a better move, you would have a level 50 Natu, by which point you would have probably be in the post game of Kanto, and it would have just learned Psychic. By that time, you can just go to Saffron City and the guy in there, his name's escaping me, maybe you can let me know in the comments down below. He just gives you the TM for Psychic. But I mean, by that point, is there any point? On the other hand, if you wanted some more bulk, speed, and special attack, you could have a Xatu by level 25. But you would be waiting on Psychic at level 65? I mean, do I even need to explain how ridiculous that is? Look at this learn set. What were they thinking? Another big challenge with Natu is its location. In Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, where this Pokemon was introduced, the only place to catch it was in the Ruins of Alph, and you had to come back once you had a way to access the grass in which to find it. Not exactly easy for the player, not exactly easy to use it in a playthrough. And let's not forget about its representation in Generation 2. Falkner, the first gym leader in Johto, uses flying type Pokemon. He has access to Natu. It's right next to Violet City. He could catch one and use it on his team, and he doesn't. Why not? Why is the representation... I mean, don't get me started on the representation of Generation 2 Pokemon in the Generation 2 game, for starters, but this is kind of like an obvious fix. And it doesn't happen. Why? And while we're talking about Falkner, he is clearly a cheater. He obviously PK hacks that Pidgeotto. It's an illegal Pidgeotto. I don't want to hear it. He's a cheater. End of story. But Natu had a chance to be in the first flying type gym of the series, in the first flying type gym of the game. What were they thinking? Missed opportunity. I don't know. I know I'm especially butthurt because if you didn't know, flying type is actually my favorite type to use when I'm playing casually. If I had the choice of Pokemon, I would have multiple flying types. I know that doubles up with a lot of weaknesses, but I don't really care. It's how I like to play. I like flying types. What can I tell you? I just don't get it! In later generations, while I think it's obvious that this Pokemon wasn't completely forgotten about, it might as well have been. It was subject to Savari zones, or having to be traded in, or the elusive Ruin Valley in Kanto. Comment down below if you've heard of or you know where the Ruin Valley in Kanto is, because I sure as hell don't, and I could Google it, but I'd rather you tell me in the comments below. Sword and Shield did give it a little bit of love, if you could call it that. It did give it a little bit of exposure, but I mean, at that point, it had been out for 20 years. It had existed in the Pokemon world for 20 years at that point when Sword and Shield came out. I just don't think that's good enough. Again, I'm probably more butthurt. I am making a video about it, so again, biased, but come on, get your act together. Now let's change the tone a bit, because while it does have these shortcomings, it's got a lot going for it. I absolutely love Natu. I love the design. It's so captivating. And the lore too. It's based off Native American totem poles, which I think adds a rich layer of cultural lore to it. And Natu's evolution is totally worthwhile. It's got great speed and special attack. And again, the lore with it, it can see into the past and the future simultaneously. I think it's a really cool, thought out design, when other Generation 2 Pokemon was like, let's add a cow Pokemon and have it like the female version of Tauros. I personally think that they put a lot of thought and effort in the design of this Pokemon, and then they went to bed and never looked at it ever again. I just know that given the opportunity, this beautiful bird Pokemon that was denied any kind of spotlight for the past quarter century would soar to new heights. There you have it, folks. Natu is a Pokemon that deserves more love and recognition from both the Pokemon Company and, I believe, the community at large. And if you agree with me, let's make our voices heard. Hashtag justice for Natu. Put it in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends. If you haven't already subscribe to the channel for some more Pokemon content. And until next time, trainers, I'll see you. Bye!